What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Snack Time. My name is Ben, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a little project called Wallos. So basically, Wallos it's an open source personal subscription tracker, and basically what that means in a nutshell is it allows you to take all of those different little subscriptions that you pay for monthly that kind of slowly eat away your bank account and give you a very pretty picture of them and let you know how much they're really costing you every month or every year. And every little bit adds up, and this gives you a really great place to visualize that and determine, hey, maybe I don't need this, and I did not realize that it was costing me so much. So something definitely cool, especially these days where every little penny seems to help. So I'm going to show you around the one that I set up, and then I'm going to show you how to configure your own using Docker, Portainer, and Nginx Proxy Manager in the event that you want to make this internet facing. Totally up to you. If we jump over to mine, the very first thing that we're going to be doing is signing in. And I've already created myself an account. And I have added one subscription already, and that is my Netflix account. Let's add a new subscription, and I'm going to zoom in just a hair so you can see it. And for this subscription name, let's just do Disney Plus. And we can upload our own logo, or we can also click on this cute little button right here that'll do a web search for us. So if we scroll down, let's pick the gold one. Now it's asking us for a price. So say we pay $24.99, and we pay that in US dollars, which you do have the option of paying in different currencies. So if you have subscriptions in different currencies, you can add them there. We can select our frequency. So maybe we pay once a month or every 3 months or whatever. And Disney's going to be every once in a month, and it will automatically renew. For start date, this is optional, but we'll pick a start date of, let's just choose the beginning of this month, and an end date, or rather a next payment date of the 30th. And now we have to select our payment type, and this just kind of helps us determine, what bank account is this coming out of, if it's going on a particular card, if it's coming out of our PayPal. There's a bunch of options. All of these are customizable. So let's go ahead and just hit credit card for now. Paid for by, and I have Ben's house, but you can also add other people in here. So if you're tracking multiple people or multiple households, you can determine, hey, who's paying for this bill? Is it me? Is it someone else? And next up, we have our category. So Disney Plus is going to fall under the entertainment category, I believe. Yep. But you can track all sorts of subscriptions in here. Like if you have a charity that you give to every month, you can add that in there as well. So it's not just about entertainment. Next up, we have a notification. So how far in advance do you want to be notified before the bill is due? Maybe you want to keep an eye on that, and maybe it's something you want to cancel, but you want to get notified before it comes up. So let's say at 5 days. And a cancellation notification, is there a time that we do want to cancel that? Maybe not. This is an optional step, but maybe we do want to cancel it in the future. Lastly, we have our URL and any sort of notes. And if this is an old subscription, we can disable it. We can still keep an eye on it and see how much we saved. Let's hit save. There we go. We have our Disney and our Netflix. Let's add one more just for giggles. Let's just say that we are also subscribing to Google TV. I just want to do this to give us a better idea. So this one's costing us $69.99 every 1 month, with the next payment being done on the 29th. And this is a direct debit and also entertainment. And we'll do no notification. The very fast way to add, just pop that in there. Very minimal information. A lot of these things are optional, but kind of helps you determine, when is your money, when is that subscription going to hit your bank account? What can you do with this information? It's a good question. You can drop down here and you can see all of you hit your profile first. enable two-factor authentication. This does have an API key if you want to be able to use this as something external, like you want to integrate something with it. Lastly, you can export your subscription. So maybe you want to move to a different product. You can export it into a JSON CSV. So if you want to go back to maybe a Excel kind of budget, you can do that. You can also select a whole bunch of just kind of personal preferences, like your currency and everything else. Next up, we have our calendar. This visualizes a good way for you to see, okay, well, I know this is coming out in a couple of days, and really puts it into a very visually pleasing little screen here for you. And it kind of summarizes it a little bit at the bottom here with some statistics. So how much is your total cost? How much is left due on this month, and how many subscriptions you have. Let's see here, going down the list, let's hit our statistics. This is really where I think it really gets cool. This will show you all of your costs, both monthly, yearly, how much you have left due this month, and what's your most expensive subscription, what's costing you the most. And then if you did set a budget, you can see how much is left of your budget, how much of the percentage are you using of your budget, and how much you are over. And then it gives you some really cool pie charts that are also clickable. For budgets, let's see here. I believe you set that under settings. Yeah, here we go. So here's our budget. So we can see that there, and we can say, okay, well, maybe I have I need to set my budget to closer to maybe like 300, or there you go. So when I save that, that will update my statistics here, tell me how much budget I have left. So if you're really trying to control how much you're spending on these subscriptions, this is a great way to visualize that. And this won't reach out to your bank account and grab all that and put it into a really cool little system for you, like I know some of the commercial ones do. But I don't know about you, but I'm not super trusting of somebody connecting to my bank account, especially a third party. So this is, while it takes a little bit of manual work, I think it's worth it, really. We have several different ways to notify you as well. You can set up an email. So if you want to put an email server in there, if you have a Discord, Telegram, webhook, push notifications, it does have a bunch of different options. Again, moving down our settings, here's the different categories. Maybe you want to add some more categories, you can do that here too, or you can remove ones. We have our currency. Maybe you don't ever plan on paying anything in yen. You can remove that. Not hurting anything to leave it, but definitely very cool, very customizable. Scrolling down, if you do have something that you want to have something like exchanged, as far as like you want to know how much the value of the dollar is versus the yen, there is an API that you can set up with its, I think, Fixer, and that will allow you to get better statistics and what the exchange rate currently is. And that is a free API key that you can get from Fixer, and there's instructions down here at the bottom, so you can just get your key right there. Alternatively, you can get a free API key from this APIlayer.com. Not too bad. Next up, we have our payment methods. If you don't use any of these, you can remove them, and you can also add them. So maybe you wanted to, instead of just saying credit card, I wanted to do maybe my Visa. I can do this right here, and I can add Visa. So there we go. We have our payment methods that we can enable, add, or we can also disable them by clicking on them. So maybe you don't want to completely remove them, but you don't want to see them every time, you can disable them. And the very last couple of things that we're going to have here is the theme. Do you like light mode, dark mode, and do you prefer a different color scheme, or do you want to do your own and customize this really hardcore to be whatever kind of color scheme that you want? Let's pick the worst color scheme ever. There we go, custom colors. Looks like a horrible color scheme. But you don't have to pick those. You can do some of these predefined ones, and they look much better. We have also custom CSS. very, very, very last things. I know this was a long menu, but a lot of really good information in here. It gives you the option to whether you want to calculate it or not. Convert or show prices. Let's see here. We can also show the original price when the conversion or calculations are made rather. So I think that's if you're working with different currencies, which you may be. That's totally cool. And then we have our mobile notification menu bar. And this is kind of, I believe this is how it would look if you are doing it like on a mobile browser. Then you have your show subscription progress. And a lot of this stuff I'm not going to really disable. Obviously, I don't want to hide some really good information, but you can if you want to. You can hide disabled subscriptions. Maybe you don't want to see them. Or show disabled subscriptions at the bottom. So adjust the way that it lays out. And then, attempt to remove logos from image search. Yes, please. I know it's experimental, but still, it's kind of cool. All right. Let's see. Let's check out our admin section. Oh, this is good. This is good stuff, though. So how many users do you want to allow into your system? You can set a limit. So maybe you have a family or friends that you want to give access to, but you don't want to give access to the entire world. You can set a limit here, or you can completely disable user registration 100%. You can require email verification, but it does require you to set up your SMTP settings in that previous screen. I believe that's where the previous screen. Oh no, it's right here. Sorry about that. You can configure it right there. Next up, we have disable login. So if you are doing this locally only and you don't want to be prompted by the username and password and you only are using it for yourself, that's a possibility, which is very cool. Not what we're going to be doing. If you have multiple people you want to add to the system, you can do that here by just creating them a username and a password and an email address. You can also delete them. We have our SMTP settings, and this is for the entire server. So if someone forgets their password, they'll be able to email it to them. And we have our maintenance tasks, which I believe they run automatically, I believe. Yeah, they're all set up as cron jobs. Let's see if we hit send notification. Okay. So that just kind of describes what they're doing. Send password resets. Okay. Orphan logo, show notifications. Yeah, that's all pretty straightforward. And lastly, we do have a backup and restore. So if you are moving from one server to another and you want to back up all of your information on your Wallos server, you can do that. You just hit backup, and there we go. It's all backed up and ready to be transplanted somewhere else. The last couple of things, just the about section. This is the different versions, a little bit about the author and how to get to all the important sites. And then we have log out. So a lot of stuff, right? I know you're probably tired of hearing me talking and you want to jump into it yourself. So assuming you haven't skipped this whole thing, let's go ahead and jump into the installation right now. It's going to be super easy and not going to take any time at all. We are going to start off at the GitHub page. And what we need to do is scroll down and find our Docker Compose file. And we are going to make a couple of changes to this, but nothing that I think that is beyond your understanding. And if it is a little confusing, that is okay. I'm going to explain it all to you every step of the way. All right, so let's copy this Docker Compose file. So I'm going to click the copy button. And if you do want to run it through the command line, you can do that, but we're not going to. We're going to put it in Portainer. All right, so once we're at Portainer, let's go over to our stacks. Let's create a new stack. I'm going to call it just Wallos, and I'm going to paste it here. And there's not a lot of moving parts on this Docker Compose file, which I love. It means I don't have to talk as much. So we are going to be creating a container name of Wallos, and I'm going to be pulling this image, the latest one from Bellamy. And we do have these ports that are going to be open, the 8282, which will translate over to port 80 on the container side. If you do plan on just running this locally and that's the only place that you're going to do it, you're not going to expose it to the internet, then leave this alone. But for the rest of us that do want to put it out on the internet for friends and family, we're going to comment out these 2 ports of the little port section. Next up, we do have our time zone. So this is important and something that we do definitely need to correct. So we're not in Toronto. So let me show you where we're going to get this. If you go to Google and you just type in PHP time zone, the first things you'll find is this list of supported time zones. You'll find, let's see here, I'm going to do the Eastern time zone. So I'm going to click on America. I'm going to scroll all the way to where it says New York. So that's Eastern. Copy that guy. And let's go back to Portainer. What we're going to do is we're going to simply just replace this right here. No spaces, please. And this will put that time zone into the right area for us in Eastern. Next up, we do have some volumes, but I'm not a big fan of putting them in just the folder it decides to. I want to let Portainer kind of control that so I know exactly where my files are going to be stored. So I'm going to remove this / for both of these volumes, and I'm going to let Docker and Portainer create those for me. So my restart policy is unless stopped, which means when my server reboots, this is going to come up automatically. And next up, we do need to establish those volumes within Docker. So we can't just run this. Otherwise, if you did, it would just error out. So what we're going to do is we're going to do volumes, then tab db, and then logos, So that will create those 2 volumes. That will create the db volume and the logos volume. Again, super easy. Definitely not a lot of moving pieces, but that is okay by me. Let's hit deploy. Super fast. Yours probably won't be as fast. I've already had it on mine, so it already has those images, but just in case, just give it a little bit of time and you should get that same little green window that popped up. All right, so next up, we have to make sure that Nginx Proxy Manager is joined to the same network as Wallos. So if we go to containers and we go to Nginx app here, and I'm going to move myself up a little bit. We scroll all the way to the bottom. We should see, all right, so if we drop this down, we should see a Wallos network right there, _default. That is the network that we're going to want to join. So we can click join network, and we can verify this is working by going down here at the bottom and seeing that, hey, we're there. We got an IP address. We've set up shop. We're good to go. Next up, we do have to create ourselves a subdomain. So we have to have a place for people to go to get to our site. So if we go to Namecheap, and you can pretty much use whatever DNS provider you want to. If you're on GoDaddy, it's basically the same kind of terminology, but we're going to create ourselves a new record, and it's going to be an A record. I'm just going to call this Wallos. And the IP address I'm going to use is going to be the IP address, the external IP rather, of my server. I'll hit save changes. And there we go. I got our wallos.synhow.com set up. Now, if we head over to Nginx Proxy Manager, let's create ourselves a new proxy host. So we click on that and we click on add proxy host. Let's specify our domain, which is going to be wallos.synhow.com. Boom. And now it wants to know, where do you want the traffic forwarded? That's a good question. I'm going to forward it to the host name because the IP address can always change. So if I do it the host name, no matter what the IP address is, it's going to be a lot easier. And the way I find this host name is I do go to Portainer. I go to containers and I look right here. I don't know if you can see it right there. That is the name that it is looking for. It's called Wallos. So I'm going to copy that, head back here and just paste it in. Make sure you don't have any of those sneaky, look at that guy. I don't know if you noticed it. Look, little white space right there. It's going to cause you to have a bad day. I'm going to get rid of him. And now it wants to know what port we're going to be forwarding our traffic to. It's a good question. If you forgot what it was, it's all right. We're going to go back to our Docker compose file. And you can see it's expecting to see traffic on port 80. Remember, the one on the left, is the port that it would open up to let traffic in. Port 80 is where it's going to be sending it to. So what we need to do, we just need to send it to 80. Because we commented out that 8282. We don't want it just sitting up there. All right, so let's go back to Nginx and we're going to put in 80. We're going to block common exploits. We're going to hit WebSocket support as we always do. We're going to hit save changes. So we have this set up, which is all well and good, but it is unencrypted, and we don't really want that just running unencrypted traffic over the internet. So let's go ahead and hit edit. Let's go to SSL. If we zoom in here right there, I'm going to hit this request a new certificate. I'm going to force it. I'm going to agree to it. And then I'm going to hit save. So if we did everything right, this should go away and we shouldn't get any sort of error message. If you do get an error message that crops up, like an internal error or something, some things you might want to check. You know, are the ports being forwarded to my server? 443 and 80. 80 is as a must. You have to forward 80. That's how it verifies that your server's live. Then check to make sure you spelled your subdomain right, and either here or on your DNS server. Now that we have this set up, I think we're ready to test. If we click on wallos.synhow.com, excellent. We're getting our, you need to create an account before you're able to log in. That's cool. I'm going to do Ben. I'm going to Ben at synack.com, a super strong password. I'm going to select my main currency and I'm going to hit register. You can also restore database. So if you did create a backup of your database, like I showed you in the first part of this video, looks like you can restore too. So very, very cool. There we go. We don't have any subscriptions. So now we just need to start adding all of our subscription and find out how much money we are giving away to all these streaming services every month. All right. Well, I think that pretty much does it. I don't think we missed much of anything. If you do have questions or comments, please leave them down below. Otherwise, I really appreciate you spending time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, you guys take care.